Hello, hello, I am Jim Bob and welcome to another City Sundays Live, the second part of our ongoing live stream, live build of a city. So last week we didn't achieve a huge amount in terms of what we placed down, but we did put in some good infrastructure. We got our kind of dock area built and our quayside in, we got our key sort of freight and passenger services in, put the starting in of our sort of grid work for our industry down here, and we also built ourselves our highway connecting all the way out to our exit point over there. Plus on top of that we also put in our full water treatment facility over here. Still need to do a bit more work to kind of get this up to scratch, but we've got the basic shell of everything in just there, and we also plonked in an airport as well. So I've got a little marker that we dropped in somewhere over here. Where is it? There it is. We dropped a marker in there for a potential positioning for a roundabout, or potential positioning for the station. I forget which one it was. It might have been the station that we were going to put there, actually. So we've got a few kind of little areas to work with. But what I want to try and do today is try and start getting in some sort of residential stuff a little bit. We've got this big area that we kind of terraformed where there was water. And you can see it's all been kind of flattened out, and a little bit of a step there. We need to smooth that out, but we want to try and start putting in some residential stuff in this sort of area over here, I think, today, building up a little bit of a sort of a residential district or two. And what we'll do is we'll pull a connection off the freeway here, and we'll kind of run this down, probably split it to a ring road that kind of loops around the area, and then start building stuff sort of in the middle area. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how it goes. Just have a quick pop into the chat. We've got Paul, Katie, Silent Gamer, William, Mr. Watter, Ziga, Bill Ritchie's in there. James is there as well. Good to see you all, guys. How are you all doing today? Paul says, finally a chance to interact with the great Jim Bob, King of City Skylines. I wouldn't go that far. I make a lot of mistakes, trust me. I'm by no means the king of this game. You know, I'm a decent player. I wouldn't put myself way up there. Right, let's think. Where do we want to get started? I suppose the obvious thing would be to start bringing a road off here to get us started. I'm going to build everything in small roads to get us going, and then we can look at expanding upon that. Main question is, do I want to have a single road or two roads? I think we'll just go with a single road coming off on this side. I need to go to freeform. My snapping options are going to need to change as well. They always reset every time you freshly load up. iPad Lad has popped in the chat as well. How you doing? Good to see you. So let's bring this road down. This is also going to kind of be a feed road towards what eventually over here will become little Lakeside area. So perhaps we could actually work on that today. We can actually work on the lake area a bit. Let's bring this road around like this. In fact, actually, let's just go ahead and upgrade this road. It's a dual carriageway. Camera's panning really fast, which makes it kind of a little tricky sometimes to stay lined up. I might have to slow the camera pan down a little bit. I'm trying to get used to this slightly faster movement speed. It does make, I think, for easier placing of stuff once you get used to it. So let's start putting in some stuff along here. Let's build up a little bit of a riverside, lakeside kind of road. Let's go to freeform. I might well upgrade this to boulevard, actually, as opposed to just standard road like this. Let's just put a little road that kind of runs around the side like that. And how would that look if we did change it? So I'm thinking this. Would that give me the space to get 4? Yeah, it does. I still get space for 4 blocks on the waterfront. That's good. It's just going to look a little bit prettier as well, I think. You know, you want to have a nice, attractive little area around here. So we'll go with that. Let's see. Let's go back to freeform for our road types. Let's start plonking in a few little bits and bobs for the water itself. Kind of plan around our area. We've got a little fishing tour area that we can drop in. Let's put the fishing. We're listening to the rock at the moment. If you're enjoying it, let me know. If you want me to change it to a different station or just turn it off entirely, then we can do that as well. Need a little bit of road access here. Might need to just redo this slightly. Take that out. Run this right along the edge of the coast here. And then curve it in. We'll probably put some trees or something in that little gap between the roads there. We've got a marina over here as well. I've got a restaurant pier. Quite like the idea of a pier over here. Right along the roadside like that. There we go. Katie says, Railway Empire isn't as easy as I make it out to be. It's one of those games that takes a little bit of practice. Keep getting stuck on the second level on the scenarios. The scenarios themselves are pretty tough. You know, some of them that say that they're medium difficulty actually turn out to be quite tough, and some of them that turn out to be say they're hard actually turn out to be a little bit easier. It's just a case of trial and error, and of course you've got choice of characters when you're playing as well in scenario mode, so you can kind of try something with one character. If it doesn't work, you know, or you know, you can try it again with a different character. You can try working a different style. If you've got various different sort of options, you know, it's definitely worth sort of experimenting with them a little bit. Let's just flatten this level out a little bit, just a little bit. Just to give me a little bit of space to put a volleyball court in just here. This is going to cause the water to just start flooding over. I have to speed that up a second. Let that drain away. Some people liking the rock music, some people preferring, you know, classical. We'll switch it up. We won't just stick with just this all the way through, because after a couple of hours, this music will get very, very repetitive. It's, you know, only so many tracks before it loops. So we'll switch up the radio stations as we go. Let's get a couple of these in if we can. Let's try and get those a bit squarer, a bit more leveled up with each other. That's the way the road curves, isn't it? we can take that corner piece of road out a little bit. Just extend that along a little bit more and then curve it in here instead. There we go, we can get a couple of those next to each other. Okay. Let's add in a row of, or a road coming off here. I want to start putting some housing in. Try and again keep that little gap between our roads if we can. Let's put another connecting road just here. Thinking we have a few sort of hotels somewhere along here, certainly some commercial, leisure commercial interests around here, some tourism as well. We're going to want a main road into this sort of feed area as well, so let's look at just expanding here for a second. Kind of like the idea of maybe having a roundabout to link up. Maybe not a big one, but take that out for a second. Just put a small roundabout in just here. Make that it needs to be off the main sort of drag, so it needs to be a little bit bigger. I think they're going really small, but we'll save that for when we actually get into our sort of districts themselves. There we go. And then we'll have a nice kind of tree-lined road. We run that in sort of over here. Run that down like that. There we go. Yeah, that's better. I like that. Going to try and get a little bit creative with how some of these roads kind of shape together. Try and break away from that sort of grid mentality. Might be able to get a nice big park in there. Let's see if we can place that in before we go too far ahead with placing roads in. Nice little cul-de-sac just there, I think. we looking so far? Let's get some more stuff plonked in sort of over here as well. Another little side street in. Killer Scott, Pro Gamer, Thomas have all popped in the chat as well. Good to see you guys. Go, and we'll expand this kind of stretch around the side here with a few more of these kind of almost ribs, I suppose you could call them. We'll tidy up that other access road over there in a moment. I don't know whether it's the same in America or, or some mainland Europe, but in the UK you certainly tend to see sort of streets just running like this, kind of curving around a little bit, and they all kind of run in unison and parallel. Sometimes you'll get little cut-betweens on certain streets and not on others, so you wouldn't necessarily have a road that would cut straight all the way through there, but you might have a road that cuts here, you might have a road that cuts here, maybe another one that cuts here, or one that cuts through two roads and then just doesn't go that little bit extra. You do get a little bit of variety in that respect. There we go, getting a nice little bit of extra stuff in there. In fact, we could even curve this road around. A little bit onto one of these roads here. Or even here, actually, that might work. Yeah, there we go, have a little connection there. I suppose we could bring a connection off here as well. There we go, have another sort of access into this area over here. Let's start dropping in a little bit of our zoning. So first off, we want to have some kind of commercial buildings in place, I think along here, around where we've got our leisure activities. Some commercial, residential along there. I want to have some nice, hopefully quite high value residential buildings along the edge of this road here as well. Have to see how the land value shakes out. We may have to do a little bit of tweaking in places. We do need to start putting in, some of our essential utilities. Just realised we're actually running real time at the moment. Let's put our pipeline along here. It's going to get a little bit messy Trying to put this piping in places. See if we can get these to connect quite evenly. There we go. Where is our water supply? It's all the way over here. We don't even have any power on our city yet either, do we? That's something we're going to need to work on. Need to figure out where I want my power to be. And what we want to use for power as well. We've got a few options. Obviously we've got all the traditional stuff like the nuclear plants and the solar plants. There isn't really the option of a hydro dam on this map. Not the way we've kind of terraformed some of the water out, but we've also got the traditional coal and oil plants. We've got the turbines, and we've also got the new stuff as well. So we've got things like the ocean thermal energy conversion plant. Actually, I haven't tried using that before. Maybe look at sticking one of those in here. Perhaps it's going to pollute a little bit. I don't know if I want to have a pollution source like that next to our passenger docks. Maybe over here. We could stick a couple of these in over here, perhaps. That might work. Just a question of, do I want them on the quay side, or do I want them... Let's try this one here. Gonna need road access for that, which we can do. Try and get the angle about right. I want to be 135 degrees. That's the easiest way to do it. It's going to be this, I think. Oh, it's not square, is it? Okay, so it's going to need to be like that. And there we go. And now we can take that out. There we go. It's a little bit neater and tidier. Going to need trash facilities as well. Paul says, what's my secret to keeping traffic so good? Practice, really. I still get issues with traffic. You just basically, you keep an eye on where your main sort of flow of traffic is, and then just try and make sure that you're not funneling everything into just one small access point. You try and make sure that you've got multiple ways into an area for your traffic, or if it's only one main way, and make sure it's well serviced so that it can spread that traffic out as soon as it reaches its objective. So over here, where this is going to be our industrial area, there's going to be a lot of traffic moving around here, and we've just got this one access point here, but it's going to be a big freeway junction, and that's going to run that all the way up through here. We've got a big roundabout to help disperse some of the traffic this way if it needs to go there, or out of the city. Coming this way into our city as we expand over this way, then there's a way through there. But it won't just be a case of the traffic can only go this way and then up this way to get into the city. We'll also have this as an access point to bring stuff in this way. We'll be able to take traffic this way and spread it into the city that way as well. Don't just push all your traffic in one single route, because then just as the city gets bigger and bigger, a massive volume of traffic just gets larger and larger and larger, and it overwhelms your road network. So you need to have multiple access points or multiple routes available for via traffic. Otherwise, it's literally all just going to converge on one single place. And you can also reduce how much traffic you have on the roads with things like a good rail network or a good subway network, some trams, buses, all those kind of things. Obviously, buses are still going to keep vehicles on the road, but it will reduce how many people are using cars for the shorter journeys, and they'll switch over to the buses instead, which means instead of, say 15 cars, you might get one bus. It helps to slow down how much traffic is on the road, or slow down the rate of increase a little bit. So we've got our power in. How much is this thing supposed to actually generate? Oh, it changes, converts changes in water temperature. Interesting. Okay, so we can't rely on that as a main power source because it just probably won't generate enough. Certainly not for a city this size either. Let's put in though some of these geothermal plants. Let's maybe stick these over here. And just put these in temporarily. We can look at something a bit more substantial at a later point. I need to get some power cables in. Start spreading that power around a little bit. Just to kind of build a little grid. I don't have a road there yet, so I probably don't need a power connect. Well, we'll put it in anyway. Just so it's there. We're going to need to get power over to here. So all these power lines I'm dropping in at the moment, these are just temporary lines. These will all get taken out, as the city grows, and we just won't need these connections. But for now, to make sure that we can get everything actually functioning, we do kind of need them. As ugly as they are going to be. Don't have to worry about the cost as well, because we're playing with an unlimited city. Everything's unlocked, so okay, that should spread power all through. Got our power generation here. It's all being distributed through this grid. It'll then run up here to there, which will then run across to there, so we'll actually start getting power in. I need to do the same with my water pipes. We never did put any water piping in over here, did we? Let's sort that out now. Stretch our pipes up a little bit where we need to. Space already occupied. There we go. Now again we need a temporary pipe connection all the way over to our water processing and our airport. I don't know if that's going to be enough for the airport. I might have to put a bit more piping in. We'll see. And again, we'll drag a temporary pipe over this way just to connect up to that area there. So if we turn this on, everything should start to sort itself out in terms of power and water. There we go. So now we need to sort out trash services. I suppose we'd better connect this this freeway up over here, hadn't we? Find the halfway point between these two roads. It's going to be about here. There's my intersection, so that's where my roundabout's going to be. It's going to be a decent sized roundabout because it's the start of our entrance to our industrial area, so we want it to be slightly bigger than we would normally do it. And then we can put trash services in down here, which can then, you know, head off to the rest of our city. Alright, will it let me... Oh, I want to go freeform, not curved. There we go. Do much more incremental changes in angle, like this. Just a little bit. I think that's as good as it's going to get. Let's upgrade these roads. There's our freeway. There it is. Won't let me do it because of that. There we go. We'll upgrade this roundabout to freeway roundabout as well. Change direction. So we're using left-hand traffic on this one, so need to change that around and that around and that. There we go. So now we've got an access point for our traffic to get in and out of this area. So if we watch this guy here, should go round the roundabout, peel off. There we go. Now he can head off and actually start servicing this area over here. We're going to put in some trash services, as, again, temporary trash services, but just enough, just so that we can start getting some growth in our city. We'll start with a couple of incinerators, and we'll stick a recycle centre opposite as well. Now head out and get everything that's connected by road. So they'll ignore that harbour there, but they'll do all these ones here. They'll deal with anything in there. We do need to get a temporary road connection up and running over here at some point, but it's not a major issue. And let's have a quick pop into the chat again. It's been a little while since I've looked in there. Pro Gamer asks, what am I going to be doing today in terms of building the city? We're kind of just working on this little area over here, trying to get a few people into the city. Beyond that, I don't know yet. Mr. Water says, is the Green Cities DLC any good? He's got it but hasn't played it yet. Yeah, it's good. It adds quite a few new things. I mean, I love the new recycle centres. I love the fact that we can clean the water better as we're pumping out waste into the cities, you know, into our reservoirs and our lakes and rivers. I love the fact that we can pump out a lot less waste with the things like the floating garbage collectors and the eco-friendly water outlets, which reduce pollution quite significantly. Galuska's popped in. How you doing, Galuska? David Henderson's here. It says that well, I'm not sure if the Green Cities DLC will be on sale, but certainly Snowfall Mass Transit both on sale in the UK on the PlayStation Store, according to David Henderson. I would imagine that means Natural Disasters will be on sale as well. Alexander and Mr. P have popped in the chat as well. Good to see you guys. And Jans has popped in as well. And Fractured. And Val. Good to see you all as well. Paul says he usually starts getting major issues at around 50 to 60,000 population. Thinks he builds areas too big and run out of room to make things better. It's not a question of necessarily building things too big. I mean, you can always add in extra roads. You don't have to be married to the grids that you put down. There's nothing wrong with taking bits of road up and relaying them, changing the way that the road network works. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. But don't forget, you can always, if you're just building sort of low density all the way through, you can throw in smatterings of high density just to kind of give you a little bit more of a boost in terms of your positioning. Let's drop in police and fire over here, I think. And then we'll put medical opposite the park. Just there. That'll please everyone that we've got in the city, which is only 300 odd people at the moment. We do need to add some more zoning in, see how this is starting to take shape. So what we've got over here at the moment, you know, is a nice little sort of starting framework, but this is by no means how things are going to stay. It's not necessarily going to end up, you know, staying in this configuration. There's nothing wrong with us going in and tweaking things to make them look a bit better to how we want them to give us a bit more variety of things. Around the park will be a nice place to live, I think, as well. So there's absolutely no reason why we can't come back and take up some of these roads and rework them if we need to, which we probably will end up doing at some point. A few more houses in as well. There we go. You can see our commercial businesses suffering because there aren't any workers at the moment. They will come as more and more people arrive in the city. You can see at the moment, because we're spending, or not necessarily spending a lot of money, but we're dropping in a lot of very expensive services. Budget-wise, we're losing 50 grand a minute, which is bad, but we're playing unlimited, so we can go ahead and we can throw all these really big, expensive items in that, you know, cost a lot to run without any issues. We certainly wouldn't be doing this on a normal city, you know, if we were playing through without everything unlocked. We wouldn't even be able to select them for starters. They'd be locked off. But we would certainly have to be watching our budget a bit more carefully as well, making sure our taxes were right, making sure that we were not overspending on services, you know, too much on water and electricity and police and education and all that stuff. Paint all that area in. Tidy this up again in a minute. Actually, if we go select, this might be a quicker way to do this. deselect these bits. Actually, no, we want this one on, don't we? There we go. So we've got a nice little block of residential there. We're now looking for more commercial. Again, we can spread some commercial out along through here. Let's drop a few shops on this side. Don't want to go too far with it. Have I ever played any of the Anno series of games? No. I'm not sure what those ones are, if I'm honest. Baker says, my cities suck, I need experience. So, just play a little bit more. It's the only way you're going to get that experience. It can be daunting at first, but once you've played with a couple of basic cities, then it starts to come together and you start better. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's going to happen. It's just a question of how you use that experience. You learn things every time you experiment. So try things out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you know that for next time, and you won't necessarily make the same mistake again. But if you don't try, you'll never know. Also, be aware that what works on one situation won't necessarily work for everything. So don't just assume because something works once it's going to work every single time. It can sometimes be that a situation that you find yourself in, or the scenario you come up with to deal with the situation you're in, works for that situation. Doesn't mean it's going to work for a different situation. So it's good to learn different things and try out different experiment. As I say, try different things, see what works on a regular-ish kind of basis, see what you can kind of do more often. But also don't be completely dependent on just one style of play or one style of thinking. You've got to mix things up a bit. I think we've got good water coverage. Let's take that piece out, it's not needed. There we go. So our city will start to come together nicely, little bit by little bit. This little area is going to start to pop up. That's good. We need to start thinking about dropping in some crime services over here. Just, it's always good to have, at the very least, in your industrial area, police and fire. Health usually helps as well, in case there are any accidents. Let's drop the police just temporarily on this corner, along with fire and ambulances. And we dropped in a cemetery to make sure that we've got a crematorium nearby. There we go. So we're starting to get this nice kind of lakeside area over here. Needs to be a lot more sort of detail put into this area as we expand. Some better tree types going in, bit of variety. We'll change up some of the commercial specialisation as well, so we get sort of tourist-specific sort of shopping over here. Maybe get a couple of hotels to pop in place as well. Paul says, what other City Skylines YouTubers do I watch? I don't get time to watch a lot of different YouTubers and a lot of different games. So I try and pick one or two for various different games. And, you know, I watch Sam Burr on City Skylines. He plays on PC. He's very, very good. Every now and again I do watch... I'm trying to remember his name now. Gravecinder, who plays on Xbox. I look in on a couple of his videos from time to time as well. But I don't get a lot of time because, you know, obviously I've got my own channel to do. So I've got my own content to, you know, plan out and record and edit and upload and prep and then, you know, I'm looking for other stuff. And then I've got my own downtime gaming as well. So I just don't get huge amounts of time to watch a lot of other people play. But I try and pop in on a few players from time to time where I can. Because, you know, that's how you learn as well, is by watching, you know, various different people try and deal with various different situations. There's never one specific way to do something. And whereas traditionally, depending on the game, I tend not to watch PC players because, you know, they tend to use a lot of mods that just aren't available or never will be available. You know, some out there are very good at explaining things and tutorial wise, and, you know, Imperial Jedi is quite good at doing sort of good guides and walkthroughs and stuff as well. He's another player that's worth checking out. Yeah, I think over here is looking good. Oh, actually getting some freight coming in, look. So let's watch our freight traffic. Just for a second, see where it heads. Should all sort of head towards our new district, because it's going to be providing goods for our commercial zone that we've been putting in. Yeah, it's all coming in here. Look, it's all coming in to feed our stores with the goods and services that they need. So that's kind of cool. Getting some water issues over here. We've just not got pipes that cover enough. No, we haven't. Okay, let's add in a little bit more water coverage. There we go. I'll cover those areas. Let's drop in a little bit more commercial in places. And let's start splitting up some of these long roads a little bit as well. Let's make these a little bit a little bit more fragmented. I am going to go straight across on that one, I think. Go, and we'll get the sort of traditional corner shops in place on some of these sort of street ends here. Little local shops for local residents. Let's go ahead and zone in some more residential. we go. So this area is starting to take shape quite nicely. OSRDB has popped in as well. Greetings from Holland. Yeah, good to see you. Welcome to the chat. Andy's in here as well, Andy Seston. And Evan is in. Dropping a little bit more residential around our sort of entranceway over here. Don't want to go too close to the roundabout. Oh look, we're getting cars parking. It's not even a proper roundabout yet, is it? We need to upgrade the road to one way. And then we need to take out all those kind of side pieces a little bit as well. There we go. So this goes back a little bit to what I was saying earlier about making sure that you don't have just one access point for all your traffic. So you can see here that we've got some traffic that's going in this way and then kind of dispersing throughout this little area here. We've also got the road that runs down here to the roundabout, which can disperse traffic out to this area. It's not all funneling in through just one road, you know. And if we had all this traffic here funneling down to the roundabout, then funneling down to here, this junction here would just become incredibly busy, because you'd have traffic going down here to go this way or that way. You'd have traffic going that way and traffic going that way to then cover all of that area there. You know, you don't have just a single focal point for all your traffic to enter, because you'll just cripple your city, you'll cripple your road network. So make sure you sort of space things out a little bit. I like the idea of some shops along the side of the park here, and what I'm going to try and do as well is try and put some pathways in between some of our buildings as well. It's something I've kind of dabbled with in the past, but I've been experimenting with a lot more recently, and that's getting footpaths in place. So let's put in a concrete path. If we can. There we go. So now we've got a link on both sides of our park to allow people from this area to just walk in quite easily, rather than having to walk all the way around the side to there to get in that way. We could do the same over here potentially as well. Let's see if we can squeeze. Yeah, we go there, because we're only taking out a smallish building, and we can run a pathway there to gain access to the park. And already you can see we've got people using that new footpath that we used, not just to get into the park, but also as a shortcut through our city. When does the next DLC come out for City Skylines? No idea. The next one probably will be Park Life. I don't know exactly when that's going to come out, and then after that at some point we'll be looking at Industries. Those will be included in the Season Pass, but I don't know when they're coming out. Don't have release dates. As soon as I find out, then I'll give you guys sort of a shout, and I'll either post it on my Facebook page or on Twitter, or obviously we'll talk about it in the live streams as well. But I'll let you know, when I have something to share. Is the game worth getting? Absolutely. If you like city builders, this is easily the best one that's available on consoles, easily by a long way. And in terms of the vanilla experience, it's pretty much the same as it is on PC, just with a few slight limitations. And then obviously, if you start throwing mods into the situation, then obviously it's going to be a lot more in depth on PC with the mods, but the base game experience on console and PC is near identical. Let's get some learning places thrown in. Let's go with the new stuff, I think. Let's go with the... I do like the new community school model. It's a really nice building. Just figuring out where's the best place for it. Let's stick it here. On this side there. That community school is just... That's a cracking building, isn't it? That's part of the Green Cities DLC. And that works in essentially the same way as an elementary school, but it's just a really, really nice model. I do like that. We've got the Creative Arts Institute, which essentially is a high school. It's a little bit big. I think I'll go with a traditional high school. Trying to get in. Go there, and then if we get in a playground next door, can't go that big. Let's go with a smaller one. There we go. So we've got our education buildings there. We're way too small to worry about a university. That's something we can think about going forward. I want to try and keep the universities in the more built-up areas, I think. Mr. Water says was playing on the main Spess Up Barn DLC on TSW the other day. Got to say, really like that Dovetail have now got moving traffic, making the game come more to life. Yeah, we looked at that on Tuesday, and it just felt much more immersive with a good selection of rolling stock, and with movement on both the roads and more movement on the network itself, on the rail network. A lot more sort of trains going past in. It made the whole thing feel more alive than before, which is great. Mr. Water says, wish he was this good at making cities. His look nothing like this. Again, it's just practice. I mean, when I started out, I just built everything in grids, and I've tried to move away from that, and try and go for something that just feels a little bit more natural, a little bit more organic. So just looking at that there, you kind of get the feeling that is a lot more realistic for a small little area like this. Obviously, when you get to the big parts of the cities, a lot of cities, throughout the world have a very much of a grid-based sort of network in their centre, in their core, where it's the main part of the city. But as you move away to the outskirts and to the sort of the little districts around the edge of a city or town, then they do start to become a lot more sort of organic and sprawling like this, because they just expand and build over time. Whereas it's not like the centre of a city where space is at a premium. Real estate prices are very, very high, and you really want to maximise just how much you can build in your space, which is why, especially in places like New York, where space is an absolute premium, it's not a question of how big a footprint you are, it's how big up you can go. Which is why you get a lot of high rises. We're going to have no high density over here. This is all going to be reasonably low density. We might have the odd little bit of tall building with hotels and stuff that we drop in as we expand on stuff that way, but we're going to keep it nice and kind of calm and low key over here, I think. I want to kind of finish off building around here as well. So let's look at bringing this road away from the waterfront. And this is going to break the power, so I'm going to pause for a second. We'll get the roads in before we resort out the power. But going back to my earlier point, yeah, I mean, a lot of my early stuff was just kind of grid-based, you know, and it's fine, you know, but you know, if you want to try and build something that's a little bit more realistic, you need to break away from that, and you need to try and mix things up a bit and go a little bit more, you know, anarchic with your designs. You know, just try and build things that are, you know, a little bit more sprawling. Don't stick regimentally to just having straight connections like this everywhere. You know, do some stuff in freeform. And there's nothing wrong with having little sort of little bits of grid work like this, you know, in the odd spot here and there. But if you're creating, you know, a small little area like this, it needs to be kind of freeform to look better, I think, personally. I mean, other people have their own opinions on that, but it's just how I feel. Let's see, I'm going to want some hotels over here. This is going to be our little hotel area just over here, I think. So I'm actually just going to quickly paint a small, very small district just here, just for hotels. Let's get the camera lined up with the road so I can try and keep the lines of the district nice and clean. Of course, actually on this side we can just run straight down the side of the camera like that, can't we? But along here, I want that to be nice and clean over there. Just want to take a little bit off the bottom here. There we go. So we've got a nice little small district there. We're going to make that... which one is hotels? I think it's tourism is hotels, if I remember rightly. Make that tourist. So we should see some hotel buildings pop up in that area there. Make sure I've got water. There we go. And we'll put in a little bit more residential in this area as well, just so we can get that power grid reconnected. And we'll supplement that with some more commercial as well. So we'll put a little bit of regular commercial through here. And this is why I wanted to make sure that the boundary didn't go over the road, so that this building here doesn't get tagged with that specialization. That stays as default. Very important, that. Actually, do I want to have houses on the back of hotels? They might complain. We'll see. We'll see how they get on. And we'll put some smaller buildings in there as well. There we go. Right, so we unpause. It's going to break our power connection temporarily. And there we go. Immediately, that broken connection here has now got something building in. And as something starts to spawn in over here, it'll reconnect the power throughout the rest of that little block. Let's take another quick look at the chat while we're waiting. Mr. P says he's sure I will find a spot for my trusty dog park. Yes, I do. I tend to use that. That's one of my maybe slight criticisms, is that there just isn't enough variety in some of the parks and stuff. You know, you end up using the same assets over and over again. It can't be helped, but it'd be nice to get some additional kind of stuff thrown in. Obviously, we're going to get more parks, more buildings of just everything as new DLCs come out. That there is part of our emergency or temporary connected pipe running over there, so we'll take that out completely. Yeah, we've got full coverage, that's good. And there you can see we've got our hotels going up for our leisure area. Let's start throwing in a little bit more leisure activity around here as well. So let's see. Some more waterside stuff. We've got a jet ski rental. Where's the new stuff? The floating stuff. Here we go. So we've got a floating cafe, which I do really like the look of. Just needs to be kind of close to a road. Let's put this in over here actually. Gives us a reason to have something on this side of the pond or this side of the lake. Just extend that down a little bit. There we go. Again, we need water over here and power. Easy enough to sort out. And just for power, just as a temporary thing, I'm just going to throw in a single cable space like that. Now we're starting to get demand for industry, which is good. We can finally start to work on our industrial zone now that we're getting that demand for stuff to spawn in. Of course, getting workers there might be a bit problematic, but we'll see how that goes. There's the railway connection. It's over there. We need to think about maybe getting a small station somewhere over here as well. I'm not sure yet whether I want to have a station that connects the main line all the way through to our city over there or not. I need to and ah about that one a little bit. We've got our floating cafe, and let's check our other sort of leisure activities. Where's the hot spots and the bad spots? Definite sort of demand for something over here. Where's our schools? Schools are over here, so let's look at maybe getting a skate park in somewhere over here, perhaps. Let's take the playground out, put the skate park in next to the high school. Put that there instead. And let's far as a playground goes, let's see if we can get a small playground in near the junior school. There we go, backing onto it. Let's get a plaza or something in over by our hotels. Nice little picnic area perhaps. Slightly outside. Oh, there we go. Drop that in there. I'll boost those areas a little bit. Get some more residential in. Go. We're definitely getting a big cry for industry stuff now, so we'll start to think about where we want our industry to be. We wanted a little forest district over here for warehousing. Still kind of do want that. Let me take a look at the actual district space and shape. Actually, I can do that with the info views, can't I? Districts. Ah, it was just that long run along there. Okay. So let's spawn in some of our industry buildings along here. So we'll have a little bit of just kind of warehouse on this side, and then we'll have just traditional on this side by the look of it. Just throw a few of those in. Nothing too drastic. Am I playing in campaign or free mode? This is just free mode. Well, there isn't really a campaign mode as such. You know, I'm playing with everything unlocked. So if we go to options, go to save, you can see trophies are disabled because where is it? That's load game, I think. There, you can see all the milestones are unlocked, unlimited money, unlimited ore, unlimited soil for terraforming, and that any one of those options disables trophies. So everything is unlocked. We're just building to see what we can build. We're doing something where we have to kind of wait for areas on our current playthrough on Green City. So this is just a nice change of pace. This is to replace something that I started trying to do around Christmas time and never actually managed to find time to do properly, which was my private project. This is a replacement for that. Stefan's popped in the chat. How you doing, Stefan? Some of these hotels are really big, aren't they? Let's see if we can maybe change up and control what's spawning in there. We're also getting a lot of buildings getting abandoned. It almost looks like a war zone. You know, these buildings just, you know, one of those kind of post-apocalyptic things that you see where a nuclear blast has swept through the city and all that's left is just barely standing structures. If we go into our policies a little bit, so I need to go to inspect, districts, policies. There we go. Let's see if we can maybe reduce the size of the buildings a little bit. Let's go with a high-rise ban. That might help. Spawn in smaller stuff. Take some of these failed buildings out. See what spawns in their place. We're still going to get some really big hotels. They're kind of a little bit different. They work in a different way to... Ooh, let's take a road out. No, I took a building out. That was lucky. They tend to work in a little bit of a different way to normal kind of zoning. So we still get these monster skyscrapers pop up, but it does hopefully reduce the number of them a little bit. And of course we can go in and we can keep deleting buildings if there's too many tall ones, which is what I tend to do with my zoning, is I tend to destroy a number of them until it's the same with farmland, like when you're trying to get, you know, that effect of lots and lots of fields, so you want that yellow base kind of, you know, land. You just keep deleting stuff until what you want spawns in, and then hope that that doesn't ever go out of business and get replaced with something else. Simulation Players popped in the chat. How you doing? Killer Scott says, how is the private city going, by the way? It's not. You know, I tinkered with it a little bit and I realised I kind of screwed up my my road network a bit by having just one point of main point of access, which was crippling my road network a little bit. And then I tried to recreate it or restart it on my new profile just in my own time, and that didn't really work out the way I was hoping. Some parts worked, and then I thought, you know what, let's just start fresh, new map, do it live, and let everyone see. Because a lot of people were saying they'd like to see the stuff in between the episodes where I'm actually building stuff, so I figured let's just do it as a series. That's why we're kind of starting over with this. So this is a replacement for that kind of private project. Our main road is going to connect somewhere around here. I need to think where I'm going to connect this back up. Suppose we could possibly have another exit point connecting to the highway over here. I'll put a little roundabout in just here, I think. So let's go straight, get the roundabout lined up properly. Go. Every time I hear that kind of noise, every time I do that, it makes me immediately think of a really bad kung fu movie. Just hear the sound effects of all these punches being thrown, like that, or Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Mac doing his karate moves, and doing the sound effects for every single movie pause as well. It just makes me laugh. There we go, freeform. Get back to where I was now, all the way over here. starting to get a lot of issues with workers. Are we just not getting enough workers? Not enough educated workers. How many people have we got going through our school system? Not enough at the moment, it would seem. Going to need another elementary school. At the very least. Current schools are slightly overwhelmed. There we go. Let's put an elementary in just there. Do the usual of putting a small playground in next to it as well if we can. There we go. And let's change up the music as well. Let's go with classical for a bit else. Stefan says, I always make my own roundabouts. Aren't there presets available? Yes, there are, but the presets are big. Very big. Let me show you. So if we go to roundabouts here, this is the small roundabout. And you can see that the small roundabout is still pretty big, you know, in terms of a little thing like this. I mean, lining it up as best I can. You can see that it's just on a much wider radius. There, that gives you an idea of the size difference. That's the small roundabout. And then you get the large roundabout, which is that. It's just, you know, I mean, they're okay, but it's much better, I think, to make your own roundabouts. You know, you can build them to the size and style that you want. Same with junctions. You know, I mean, these are great, but I mean, look at the size of it. You know, it's a big old beast, and when you're trying to place something like this, you know, it's just how much space it takes up, and then trying to get it all lined up perfectly with your road network, and yeah, they can be a real pain sometimes. Same with these, even these. You know, I mean, if you look at the size of what I built in terms of footprint against this one here, ours is probably a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, just as functional, and has a smaller footprint. You know, if I spin that around. And try and line it up a bit. You can see where it kind of spits off, and it's only one side as well, whereas this is like a has got a connection going underneath. You know, they're great templates to get you started, but as you get more experience with the game, I find it's better to start just building your own things. You know, you can build them exactly how you want them. Cornish Simmer Matty says he wishes he knew where to start with the game. Just pick a map and don't start with a scenario, because a scenario usually requires some kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say advanced knowledge, but you know, a scenario will assume that you know what you're doing. Just build a small city and just set yourself small targets. You know, don't set yourself a target of I've got to get it to 100,000 as quickly as possible. Set yourself small little incremental targets and just work through your milestones. So, see, they're kind of disabled here, but you know, each milestone will tell you what you need in terms of population to reach the next thing, and it unlocks a whole period of things. Now, obviously, we're completely unlocked here, so you can see, you know, it doesn't tell you, you know, what the cutoff is, but you know, as you go to the next one, you'll get a new area available to purchase, and you'll unlock the ability to create districts, and you play about with policies. You'll get access to loans, you'll get your emergency services, so police, fire, etc. You can start specialising your industry for forest and farming. Then the next one up, you gain access to landscaping, you get parks. You get some changes to additional policies as well. You get new road types in terms of the footpaths. You gain access to the canals if you have mass transit. You get your school, your high school, your parks, and stuff like that. And then the next level up, you start unlocking transports, and then you can start throwing in buses and trams and taxis. And again, you get new road types that become available, new specialisations, new policies, new buildings. So you get your cemetery, and you get your advanced wind turbine for more power, and so on and so forth. And all the way through, each time you hit a new milestone, you gain access to new stuff. So just work your way through it bit by bit, and just take your time with it. Don't rush it, because you'll end up creating something that just doesn't work. It can't support itself. See, we've got a lot of problems at the moment with workers just not being educated enough to get into this. We have, too small of a population now. One way we can do that is to just throw more schools in. Another way we can deal with it is we can increase the budget on our education so that they can cope with a higher intake of students. So we will end up spending more in terms of service costs, but our education will certainly be able to manage better. So you can see now that sudden jump on the elementary there, the capacity jumped by over 100 people just by bumping up the budget. We look at our high school, that's now able to cope. There's enough space in there for everyone who's eligible to actually go in there and graduate. So you don't necessarily have to throw in lots and lots of additional school buildings. You could just play about with your budgets a little bit. Well, like I say, just take your time with it. Don't rush it. Just build it up in little bits by bits, and start small. Keep everything reasonably compact to start with, and then just start to spread out. Your first tile will last, well, and a long time if you build everything, and start building compact. Build with the grid system when you first get started, just to get used to how the game works, and just pay attention to where your traffic is going, and so you can figure out how road networks work well. And then once you gain more confidence, and then you can start to try more advanced things like going freeform, like trying out different building types and trying different policies on your districts and stuff. But keep it simple when you start, and just gradually start building up the different things, and you'll be fine. Cody's popped in the chat, as has Tiny. Good to see you guys. We're definitely getting a lot of abandoned commercial businesses at the moment due to a lack of educated people, but we are getting more and more people graduating, so those will sort themselves out in time. Let's see if we can start getting some more zoning in. We could also potentially look at a couple of offices as well, but I do want to work a little bit more on our industry over here. So now that we've got a bigger demand for it, we can start to zone in some industry over here. So let's have a sort of a feed-in point. Actually, this is going to need to be dual carriageway for a part of the way. Go, and then we want to go one way so we can control how the traffic moves through this area. Run that to say there. Go. So you can see that traffic coming in will feed into the left-hand side of the road because we're using left-hand traffic, and then peel off this way, go around the estate, and then come back down here, and then take the left-hand side here, straight back up to the roundabout, and it stops traffic from having to cross over itself as well. So they're not stuck at a junction waiting to turn against other oncoming traffic. It should keep things moving nice and smoothly. To help break this large block up, we're going to separate these into little blocks like this again, so that traffic that deals with these early buildings doesn't need to go all the way around the loop to get back out again. You know, they can shortcut their way back. Let's actually separate that a little bit better. There we go. Like that. And then we can have two-directional road that kind of fills this space, so we can have some industry in here where traffic can come in and then go back out again. Obviously, if you make that one way, traffic can go in and then can't get out again, just get stuck. And we can do the same on this side as well. Or we could extend the loop around here and bring it out this way and connect up this way. There's nothing to stop us from coming over here and having another industry over here or something that way. So I'm going to leave that exit as is for now. Just going to expand this area a little bit with some side roads like this. And again, we're going to go to one way on this. There we go. And to make things a little bit easier for traffic to get out, I'm going to upgrade our exit road to one way like that, to a one-way highway, so that we don't get buildings, you know, unloading on this side of the road, holding up our exit traffic. I need to change direction on some of these roads. And there we go. So let's make sure we've got piping over here to supply water. And again over here as well. And we're just having a little bit of a shortfall at the edge, so we'll just pull that out a little bit further. And then same again here. And there we go, that's sorted out that coverage area just there. And now we can go ahead and zone in some industry. I'm going to paint a district in this area first though, just so I can, you know, name it rather than anything else. Probably won't specialise this industry, we'll just leave it as is. There we go. That's our nice kind of clean border for our district. We can, oops, he says, immediately making a mess. We can fill this in now. There we go, and let's just clean this up a bit. There we go. And let's go ahead and zone some industry buildings in here. So again, by doing this, no buildings will spawn on Jeremy Highway. They'll spawn on the side of this road here, on the side of this road here, and on the side of Mulberry Street here, but they won't spawn on the side of Jeremy Highway, which means we won't get vehicles stopping and then pulling in and unloading and blocking traffic, as you'll see on the other roads. This means that this little bit of... and anything that gets on here can immediately just run straight through like that. We can also go ahead and look at our intersections, and we can put stop signs rather than traffic lights over here. Don't need a stop sign there. Again, we've got no power at the moment, but let's add in a little bit of power. Actually, we might not need to. If we can zone... I only want to zone half of that. Let's go to select. So I want 4 blocks, which is the maximum width of a block of a building. There we go. Is that going to be enough? It is, yeah, that's enough to form a grid by connecting up to the dock there, so no need for additional power cabling. We've got traffic lights on the roundabout, haven't we? Yeah, let's take those off. There we go. Let's get rid of these as well. And I'm going to upgrade the roundabout to triple lane highway. See if that makes a difference as well. It might not, but you never know. And we'll just leave 2 lanes there for that little loop around, because most of the traffic's going to be looping out this way. And again, we can also upgrade this. Oh, that's one way only. We want bi-directional on there. There we go. As we kind of feed into our industrial area there. And again, you can see by having highway down, it's removed the ability to zone on the sides of the road. So you don't have to worry about stuff spawning where it shouldn't do. So if we were to fill in this block here, it would spawn on this side of the road here and not on that, which again is great for making sure that you don't get on your main access roads, you don't get stuff holding up traffic. If we can see something pulling in, I'll wait for some traffic to turn up now, but you'll see what I mean about stuff pulling in. Maybe over here. Yeah. So let's keep an eye out on this truck, for example. Oh, that's actually going to the docks. There. So you can see that this truck here has pulled in, and that just stays there, and it just blocks the traffic. So anything coming along this direction has to wait until that has finished unloading and then pulls back out again before it can then carry on through. So that's obviously not what you want on your main sort of exit roads like this. You don't want traffic being held up longer than necessary. Let's take another quick look at the chat. Epic John has popped in. How you doing, Epic John? Actually, no, Epic John, you are gone. No need for that kind of language in the chat. Let's see who else has popped in. Binny's popped in the chat. How you doing, Binny? Marcel, I think I've already said hello to Marcel, but if I haven't, hello, Marcel. Good to see you. Raymond's popped in the chat as well. There we go. Yeah, we're starting to get a few worker problems over here, which is to be expected, because all of our residences are all the way over here. But you can see that we've got a lot less sort of failing businesses here now that our workers are getting education through our school system, which is good. I don't really want to add any more, despite having the demand, I don't really want to add in any more industry until we can get more people into the city to actually support those buildings. So let's finish filling in some of this stuff over here. Let's go with a large paintbrush and just paint all of that in. That roundabout's going to have to be sorted. go. Take that out, and I'm just looking to see if I need any more commercial anywhere. I think we're okay at the moment. We've got a little bit, and what we have got isn't performing amazingly. We can drop a little bit more in here, I think. Just a little bit there, on the edge of our sort of mini hotel district. You can see we don't have quite so many tall hotels. I mean, they're still tall, but they're not as tall. All high-rise band does is it stops, tall buildings from going to their highest level, but it doesn't mean that you won't get them. Building here that's gone. Let's remove that. Still got all this kind of area that we can work with as well. We're making some decent progress. How are we looking over here? We kind of really need to connect this up as well, don't we, at some point? Let's look at doing that now. I kind of want to bypass road where I can. For now, we'll just kind of connect up like that. May well have another highway access point somewhere over here as a better point for that. Plus, we can also feed that out this way as the city expands all the way over there in time. That's still quite a way off. Yeah, industry seems to be settling down a bit quite nicely now. That's good. This area has certainly calmed down a lot more, as you can see. More and more people getting educated in the schools. It means they're available to work in these buildings over here. Let's start looking at putting in some proper specialisation over here. So let's go back to our district painting tool. Now we want this to be a bit of a leisure area, don't we? So try and freeform this district painting a little bit if we can. So we've got Washington Hills over here. Let me just have a quick look. Where is my commercial stuff? Just there, isn't it? And then I've got another block over there. We'll make that another district over there, I think. Probably this little district that we've probably made a bit too big. But we'll leave it like that for now in case we do add more commercial in along this part here, which is possible. Let's put a specialisation on that as well. So we want leisure on this. And this should change the commercial buildings that are here. So rather than traditional kind of storefronts, you'll see these will start to disappear and then rezone as leisure buildings. So we'll get arcades and things like that pop in, and seafood restaurants and all sorts of stuff. Killer Scott says I should, well, he says to just start calling him Scott. So Scott says to put an airport in. Way ahead of you. We've got one over there. It's not linked up yet, but we have got one in place. Ricky has popped in the chat as well. Good to see you, Ricky. What are the population needs for an airport? Quite high. The standard airport unlocks at, I think, a minimum of 50,000 people. maybe higher than that, and then the next tier, the final kind of tier in terms of your milestones, the very last one unlocks the international airport. So a megapolis will unlock the international, and then a metropolis will unlock the standard one. So they're the last two milestones to hit. So just have a look next time you're playing at what population you need to reach, but they'll be quite high. I think it's 100,000 or 90,000 for an international, and then so it'll be a little bit less, so 80, 70, 80 for a standard airport maybe. But you do need a lot of people. But don't forget, I mean, we've only got a smallish kind of area over here, but we could massively increase the number of people in here with high density. I don't want to have a high density setup over here. Okay, make sure everyone's got water. Let's come back to this bit over here. Let's see, we've got some other leisure stuff that we can put in as well. We should probably make sure that we've got lots of leisure activities in our leisure district, really, shouldn't we? It's already looking pretty good. So as we move away from that, we start to get a little bit kind of less well covered. Let's drop in a couple of tennis courts over here, I think. Let's stick them on this side of the road so we get the full benefit. Let's stick in a pair of courts like that. Of course, I've stopped myself from building a straight road up like that, but that's fine. Not too bothered by that at all. I do want to break this area up a little bit though, so let's bring the road off this way. Do I want to bring another road down here as well? I'm going to lose a little bit of real estate if I do that. What about if I go up here? Let's do that. Change some of the zoning a little bit. Okay. Added a little bit more commercial and residential over here. Gonna need to put some piping down for water again. Let's get a few more kind of little bits of road that we can mess around with as well. Big space in here, but there we go. A nice straight edge for us to put a park or something in that gap. I think I might leave that as is. Actually, let's take a look at our services. Yeah, we've got pretty good coverage so far. No need for an extra. It's very high fire hazard because of all these trees. As you can see, lots and lots of trees. So a big forest fire hazard. That's something we can look at combating with maybe some of these fire helicopter depots. We won't necessarily place them there, but somewhere we'll end up with a sort of a helicopter depot. Let's take a look at healthcare. Some other little buildings we can look at as well that we haven't put in. We've got a sports hall. We've got the community pool. Actually, the community pool would be a good thing to put somewhere over here, I think. Let's place a community pool just there. This is one of the newer models that I do really, really like from the Green Cities update. We've got a yoga garden as well. We'll save the yoga garden for somewhere else, I think. We have got a sauna somewhere as well. Got a sauna in next door as well. Still need to come back and finish the roads off over here now that we've got our roundabout in. So, where do I want this road to go? I suppose I could just take the road to there and then just bring it straight down here. Like that, and then carry that across. Like that. Yeah, that works. Go. I don't want to build right on the roundabout, so we'll take those off. Put that in. Like that, and then just leave a little bit of a gap just here. So I don't want to build right up to the edge of the roundabout, I just think it looks a bit dodgy. There we go, our little area over here is really starting to take some shape, isn't it? It's coming along quite nicely. Who else have we got popped in the chat recently? Let's have a look. Sam Chi has popped in. Welcome, Sam. Corey's popped in as well. Good to see you, Corey. Mr. Water says, bit off topic, I'm wondering why Farming Simulator 19 is more optimised on the PS4 Pro than the Xbox One X. I don't know. I mean, what's the differences? I don't know if there are any differences in terms of the optimisation. I don't have an Xbox, let alone an Xbox One X, so I can't comment on something being, good or bad, in comparison. But, what optimization things are you talking about? Corey says, what map is this? Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but I did put it in the description of the episode last week. Let me have a quick look. This is the Seven Lakes map. Ah, Ryan. Haven't seen Lando for a while. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. PS4 does not run at a constant 60 frames per second playing Farming Sim. I can attest to that. Maybe a constant 30, but certainly not a constant 60. I've seen noticeable drops from time to time. It's certainly not a constant 60. Don't forget as well, I mean, depending on what you're doing will determine, will be a contributing factor to the lag as well. So if you're building, lots and lots of assets into your maps and you're putting lots of trees down and lots of bales or stacking, keeping them all really, compacted as well. So huge big piles of bales, lots and lots of stuff dumped loose. Anytime you get a large build-up of stuff in a very small area, that's going to cause lag. So it may be you just need to adjust the way that you're building your farms a little bit. GP's popped in as well. Good to see you, GP. SITV Network. What's my favourite game of all time? I honestly don't know. I mean, I've played so many games over the years. I've been gaming since I was a kid. I'm 40, so I've been gaming a very, very long time. And I've played a multitude of different games, on a multitude of different systems. Yeah, I have, different games that I really enjoy at certain different periods, but I don't have a clear, outright favourite of all time. It's just far too many games that I've enjoyed to pick a clear favourite. I don't think anyone can really answer that question. Not honestly, anyway. Right, nice little bit of extra road around here. I'm still trying to decide if I want to come off the roundabout this way at all. We were thinking about maybe connecting to the freeway over here, weren't we? Still not sure if I want to go ahead and do that. Suppose we could do an underground sort of connection to the freeway. Let's try it. Let's see how it looks. And then it wouldn't need to be underneath on this side, would it? From this point here, sort that out a little bit. We just have a straightforward slip road going on and off. Let's go to upgrades. Let's get some slip roads in. And on this side as well. Probably overbuilt this. It's way longer than it needs to be, but never mind. And then down here, this needs to be two directional. Let's make it freeway though. Oops. There we go. And let's go freeform. Probably going to break if I build at the wrong angle, so let's try and stay straight coming off here. There we go. See if we start getting traffic using that. A lot of discussion over whether whether Xbox or PS4 are better. You know, each system has its own pros and cons. I mean, the Xbox One X, you know, is phenomenally powerful, but you know, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be optimized for a lot of games. PS4 is the PS4 Pro is a good console, very good console. You know, I'm very pleased with it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best choice either. You know, and again, it all depends on the type of game you're playing. If you're playing PC games or PC style games, you know, games that are traditionally, you know, you would until recently have played only on a PC, then you know, a PC still remains the best place to play those. But I mean, you can get good versions on console now, which is, you know, good to see. I mean, this game plays very well on console. We've got other simulators that are playing very well on console now as well. So you know, you won't ever get the full experience in terms of mods, but base game experience should be pretty similar, if not exactly the same. Let's take out these failed businesses. Yeah, that looks a bit better over there now, with a lot less massive hotels sticking all the way up. Oh, I need to put water in over here, don't we? I forgot about that. Let's extend our grid coverage a little bit. There we go. So we've got 5,000 people into the startings of our city. I've got a nice little waterfront area over here. Just take a quick look at some of this in a little bit more detail. I've got someone swimming lengths in the pool there. Someone interacting with the dog down there. Moving around. Do we have anyone on our floating restaurant? let's slow time down a bit so people don't look like they're getting violently thrown all over the place. There's nobody actually on the tables by the look of it, but we do have some boats parked up. It doesn't actually have people visiting at the moment. Visitors last week 4. So at the moment not many people are visiting that, but I mean, we can rezone this as a sort of a leisure area or a tourist area. That'll help, I think, bring more people in. What else have we got in our city? I find mid-speed is the best one for watching. Traffic isn't too fast that way. I do like this little central boulevard that we've got down here. I love that people can walk through the centre, and that's the footpath. That's really cool. Spending a bit of time walking amongst the trees. It's almost like a park in its own right, isn't it? Got our fishing pier over here. Nobody fishing at the end of it. A little marina over there. Our little plaza, got a few people in there enjoying the benches. A little bit of rest and relaxation. So we swing around this way. We've got a fire. Ooh, someone's on fire. Just in time. Where is our tennis courts? We see some people playing tennis. There we go. So yes, we've got people playing tennis in the area as well. It's coming on very, very nicely. I'm quite pleased with the sort of little bit of work that we've done over here today. It is all looking like a good starting basis for us. And of course, we've also done this over here as well. You can see, now we are getting some problems along here with stuff, holding up traffic, feeding in. So we might have to just take that corner building out. Let's put a plaza in there instead. You can see all my monuments are unlocked because I haven't unlocked these on my new profile, and they stay locked until you physically unlock them. So I'm going to have to, same with my unique buildings and landmarks, I'm going to have to work hard to unlock some of those on my other stuff in my own time, I think. But let's put a plaza in here. Just to take out nope, that's the wrong way around. Just to take out traffic getting held up at the entrance. I want that to be that way. There we go. The trees are going to look manky and horrible because we're in the middle of a very polluted area. But at least it's somewhere, and it should give a little bit of leisure boost to some of these buildings anyway. So, yeah, our warehouse district is coming along quite nicely. Do we have much demand for industry at the moment? Not really. It's pretty much capped itself quite nicely. So we don't have to worry about dropping more industry in yet, but we've got plenty of space zoned here in Coleridge Heights for the next round of stuff going in. So I think this seems like a good place for us to end it. We've been going for a little over 2 hours. It's not a bad place for us to call it a day. So we'll continue working on the city next week. I need to think what we're going to do next week. I'm not sure yet. We'll have a think about it during the week, and then we'll come back on Sunday at the same time, 6 p.m. next week, and just expand this a little bit more. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob. Thank you to everyone who's stopped by and popped away ideas and suggestions and comments and stuff in the chat. Always great to hang out with you guys and talk with you. And we'll do this all again with some more City Skylines next Sunday. Don't forget, Tuesdays we'll be returning with TSW Tuesdays, another live stream there where we run some more rail services. And of course we've got Farm Sim, Railway Empire Genesis Alpha 1 and our Green Cities playthrough coming out every couple of days on the channel in video form as well. So, as I said, thanks for watching. I'm Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more City Sundays next week.